One, but I am looking at the Baltimore Ravens. They started off the season 0-2 last year, and they lost in Buffalo at the end in the playoffs in the divisional round. Lamar did not play his best game. Can the Ravens start off the season with a statement win and show that they are truly going to be contenders to the Chiefs and Bills in the AFC this season?
Yeah, what you're seeing there, they lost that game to KC. That's one thing. They lost this game to the Raiders week 2, and that may have haunted them the entirety of the year. Lewis, Friday night in Brazil, Chiefs Chargers. What are you watching?
I'm watching pick number 32 of the 2025 draft. That being Josh Simmons, the starting tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, who, quite honestly, Brett Veach, the general manager of the Chiefs, stole from the rest of the league, picking him that late in the first round, a guy who's probably going to be challenging for Pro Bowl berths this year, early in his career. He's got every tool imaginable. They are totally satisfied with the way he has looked in the preseason. They are ready to get it started and let him protect Patrick Mahomes' blindside.
Obrigado, which is thank you in Portuguese. Dominique, Cowboys, Eagles, tomorrow night. What are you watching for?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Eagles offense specifically. Last time they went to the Super Bowl and replaced their coordinators, their offense struggled early on, particularly with how to address the blitz. So I'm assuming with the Super Bowl championship under their belt and some more experience for their quarterback, they'll be comfortable, but adjusting to a new play caller and a little bit change in the play design, I think is something to watch for. I think they'll be fine, though.
All right, it's an interesting dynamic. Whenever a team wins a championship, they have a variety of options on how they choose to approach the following season. I want you to hear from both Nick Sirianni and A.J. Brown on how they're not looking in the rearview mirror anymore.
How do you feel about the fact that even though it is banner night for you guys, the fans will still have the standard of performing and winning at a high level?
Yeah, I didn't know it was banner night. We won't be out for that.
You know, I think from the outside, I think the city and everybody has been talking about it, but you know, this building has been locked in. You know, we put that to bed long ago, and like I said, we just ready to go. You know, that's over with.
So that's the way they've chosen to go about it. And Lewis, you have two reasons why you think it might just be the right approach.
Yeah, look, because head coaches constantly are worried about two things in the NFL, and they're worried about it in particular at the start of a season. One, having your season derailed by injuries. Two, having a championship season kind of like bleed into the next season in terms of complacency, meaning you're thinking about last year. Nick Sirianni's not having any of that. Control what you can control, right? Injuries you can't really control. I mean, you can control soft tissue injuries to some degree in terms of your offseason preparation, but complacency, coaches hammer that into players all the time. And one of the best things that they love to hear coming out of their own team is for a leader like A.J. Brown saying, we put that to bed a long time ago. That's exactly the start that they need.
What do you think of it, Kmart?
Well, just think about the moment that I think about is when they got their rings and Jalen kind of looks at it and puts it down. I don't even know if the guy even tried it on that night. And that, to me, set the stage. I was just in Kansas City recently for the premiere of The Kingdom. Like, the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl, and they have a documentary. You've got the Cowboys on TV. Like, all these things are happening where the Eagles are like, yeah, we're not the defending champs. We are a team that's 0-0 right now, and we have a long season ahead of us.
Think about the last time they won a Super Bowl. You had Jason Kelce in the Mummers costume. You had this parade, and it's all Philly finally wins. Nick Sirianni, this is so on brand. He wants to always have edge. He wants to always be angry. He wants his guys to always feel like they are being treated like less than. The truth of the matter is, they're the heavy favorites in the NFC East. And this might not just be manufactured. This might actually be what is organic in that locker room. They don't want to have any complacency going into the start of the season, knowing that everybody is picking them out of that conference.
Quickly, Nick, why do you look so skeptical?
I mean, I think it's authentic to them, which is great, and I think it's one way to approach it. But also, there's nothing wrong with being happy. You accomplished something pretty impressive. You can celebrate. Congratulations, you're Super Bowl champs. Like, there are teams that approach the season like, let's run it back. We have something to prove. There are other ways to motivate yourself to avoid the complacency other than being mad, but I think this works perfectly, honestly, for this Eagles franchise in Philadelphia itself.
Fair enough. One way or another, Schrager, you just said they're the favorites in the NFC East. I think I would remove the East from that. Yep. They're the favorites. I mean, period, end of sentence. And if you don't believe me, listen to someone who knows a little something about winning championships. Here's Cowboys legend, our very own Troy Aikman, on the Eagles.
As someone who has won some Super Bowls, I do think, until proven otherwise, you know, they're the team to beat. There's not much not to like about the Eagles. I do feel that they're the best in the NFC right now.
As someone who's won a
I love it. He wouldn't look at the camera when he said it. Yeah.
I love that flex.
Well, but it's the same point Neek just made. Like, there's nothing wrong with being happy. There's nothing wrong with making sure that you know the context of this conversation is I won 3 Super Bowls, and thus what I'm about to say is important.
Yes,
it happens. There's nothing wrong with it if you're right, and he's right.
Yeah.
But is he? Are the Eagles, Louis Riddick, the team to beat? I would take out just the NFC. Are they the best team in football as this season begins?
Yeah, I would have a hard time saying that they aren't as well because of the fact that, look, offensively, they return everyone, basically. I mean, and they're loaded and they're motivated. And I think the approach that they're taking is another reason why I would take them against the field. But they have a history of coming up with guys who continually step in. So, yeah, I would still give them the title until proven otherwise.
This might ruffle feathers in AFC cities, but I would say the better quarterbacks are in the AFC, but the better head coaches are in the NFC. And the guys that are game planning all offseason are going to be McVay and Shanahan and LaFleur. And then you go down the list of Dan Quinn and Dan Campbell. You have a really good list of head coaches that now have an entire season's worth of Eagles game film. I wouldn't just hand it over. I know Andy Reid and Sean Payton are going to make
West is going to be.
I get that. I understand. I think the quarterbacks are in the AFC this year, and I think the head coaches are in the NFC. And I wouldn't just hand it to the Eagles based on the coaches that they've got to go against in that conference.
That's a major declaration right there.
That's a take.
Well, what you just did
that is a
you
take.
literally just created 6 other conversations for us to have
That is
this
a
morning.
take.
Rip up the C block. But one way or another, let's circle back to what he's saying. Because the Eagles, they are going to get everybody's best shot. There are a lot of really good teams in there. And if there is any weakness there, I've completely lost my track of thought. They have lost some pieces on defense as well. The offensive coordinator and pieces on defense.
Yeah, all the questions that Louis laid out are fair. My counter would be every team in the NFC, AFC for that matter, has some question, whether it be a quarterback, at head coach, or roster configuration. The Eagles are the defending Super Bowl champion. They return almost everybody. There is no reason that they shouldn't be the team that you pick. I think everybody might be picking the Eagles, but the way people talk about Jalen Hurts, it's like, I know he's a Super Bowl MVP, but I don't know if he's a top 10, top 5. I think that's sort of one of the reasons why that man wasn't even looking at that ring. He's like, okay, I did this, but he's still being disrespected. So I think this whole team is the best, but they still feel internally that people are not giving them their
If there's any, I'm not any part of the Jalen Hurts disrespect or question mark, but if there is any, it would be because they just voted Saquon Barkley the number 1 player in the entire NFL. And so I would then ask you, Dominique Foxworth, meaning he's got that on his side. Let's not get sidetracked again. Neek, will they need another season like that from Barkley? Barkley just had a season for the ages, one of the 2 or 3 greatest running back seasons in the history of the NFL. Does he have to be that again for this team to repeat?
No, he had almost 350 carries last year. You can't expect him to continue to carry that load, and I don't think that teams are going to enter these games anticipating that Saquon Barkley's not going to be a big factor. So I think teams will approach it. To Schrager's point, there will be game plan decisions made, and the talent differential between the Eagles and other teams is there, but it's still the NFL. These guys are still really good. I think there are scheme adjustments that they can make to put more pressure on the passing game, but the problem there is they got 2 of the best tackles in the league, 2 of the best receivers in the league, and a Super Bowl MVP at quarterback. That's why we still see them as the favorite. Like, this team, no matter what you do, they can find a matchup that they can exploit. The question is, are you going to be able to make those plays? Because they're more talented than just about everyone, and they have the experience of going to and winning a Super Bowl.
Now, that first victim, if they're going to be that way, will be tomorrow night. They open against the Cowboys. Speaking of whom, it was all about the numbers game in Dallas. Jerry Jones on Good Morning America this morning, still talking about the stunning Micah Parsons trade. You have to hear the reason he has given now, why he believes it made all the sense in the world. Plus, the MVP showdown in